Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Verifiably Random. My name is Min. I'm the Chief Business Officer here at the Algorand Foundation, and I'm excited to bring you another episode. As many of you know from our last session where Mark and I talked a little bit about the new format that we're doing, I'm going to be doing a little bit of digging into the builders and the projects that are launching on Algorand. And so this is my first episode. I'm very, very excited to bring on Max Ball, who is the CEO of Alpha Arcade. And so, Max, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
For those of the listeners in the audience that don't know Alpha Arcade, it'd be great for you to do a quick intro, Max, a little bit about you and who you are and how you got here.
Cool. My name is Max. I'm the CEO of Alpha Arcade. I'm also one of the co-founders at Lofty, another platform on Algorand that's tokenizing real estate. Essentially, we thought of this idea during the last election when everyone was going crazy on Polymarket. It was the next new thing. It was exciting. It was interesting. It was unique. And generally in our minds, if there's a product and it's built on Algorand, it's automatically going to be better than a product built elsewhere on another chain, just because Algorand is so efficient, low fees, very high transaction speed. So we thought this would be a very unique product to have on Algorand. And Mark, my co-founder in this, just kind of started building it. I went over to his place one weekend. He built out the beta version. We started testing it. It worked great. And we figured, what the hell? Let's launch this, see how people react. And it's gone awesome so far.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers certainly prove it for sure. And so actually for those, maybe I'll also bring it back a little bit. Can you just help us understand what prediction markets are? And in fact, why is it that prediction markets on blockchain, of course on Algorand, but on blockchain, why is that better?
Right. So prediction market, it's essentially a trading platform where you can predict the outcome of future events like weather, elections, sports, geopolitics. So it's a very unique way for you to be able to make predictions on events that you typically couldn't make predictions on previously. And so really anything you could think of, whether it's, GTA 6 coming out by the end of the year, who will be at the top of the charts on Spotify, you can now make a prediction on who you think will be the winner, essentially. And if you compare this to before prediction markets, if you wanted to get an idea of the likelihood of something occurring, it could even be something like the chances of a hurricane happening in Tampa in the next few months. Really, the only things you could look at would be the news or people's sentiment on Twitter. And if you're familiar with Twitter, which most people are, you can scroll down Twitter for a certain topic and you're going to see thousands of different opinions, right? But in reality, these opinions don't mean much because anyone could just go on Twitter and post whatever they'd like. But when people are essentially making a prediction on a prediction market, that they're putting their money where their mouth is, right? They've done the research, at least a little bit, I would think. And so you could see these prediction markets as really essentially like accurate representations of the opinions of the world. And so you can use this to hedge, you can use this to make informed decisions about politics, about where you invest your money, any types of events. And so to us, that's probably the most exciting part about all this.
Yeah. And I guess what makes it better being on a blockchain?
Really just the efficiency. The fact that you can make these transactions or trades very quickly for very low fees. And it allows for really peer-to-peer transactions. It makes it more efficient. Mm-hmm. And to me, one of the best parts about prediction markets is there's no house, right? If you compare this to Vegas or, kind of the traditional way to make predictions on sports, you're always betting against the house, which typically has an advantage. They charge high fees. With prediction markets, in order for your prediction to go through, you need to match with another person on the other side. And so the peer-to-peer aspect really, I feel, is one of the best parts about prediction markets, really compared to the traditional way.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's always the other side of that prediction, right? Somebody else is on the other side of what you are predicting.
Right.
Well, it's almost like an order book type.
Exactly. Exactly.
concept. So I guess you mentioned that you guys kind of started, Mark built this overnight, and as a hack project, you guys got together and you guys were like, let's launch it. But what was the inspiration for even thinking? Because you guys were building Lofty, real estate
Mhm.
tokenization, right? What was
Yeah.
the inspiration to go into prediction markets?
Poly market, to be completely
Yeah.
honest. We
Yeah.
loved using it. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool to be able to follow it throughout the last presidential election
Hmm.
process, to be able to actually get accurate representations of who was winning each state and who was winning the entire election. Whereas polls, I mean, I don't personally know anyone that's ever done a poll. I think most people haven't. And so really just the excitement following Polymarket throughout the last election really just incentivized us to build something similar just because we liked it and it was fun.
And the other thing is like, I think the power of Polymarket came through when it showed how accurate it was in
Right.
actually predicting the
Yeah, they
outcome.
predicted all the swing states accurately.
All of the swing states, which
Yeah.
is fascinating, which is to your point, like there's so much knowledge out there, and this is one way to capture that knowledge,
Mhm.
right? All the research that you do and to capture it into this
Exactly.
prediction market. Yeah.
100%.
Super cool.
And for us, Lofty was and is still our full-time job. Mark essentially built this on weekends and over the Christmas and Thanksgiving holidays. So we just, instead
That's
of
amazing.
going and hanging out with our families and really celebrating, we were building the first iteration of this.
Yeah.
And it's helpful that there are other similar products that we can base a lot of Alpha Arcade off of, whether it's like the user interface, the user experience. With Lofty, there were really no other real estate tokenization platforms. So we were having to build everything from scratch. There
Yeah.
was really no blueprint. But with Alpha Arcade, there's a lot of little things that we can take from other similar products. And really just with the uptick in AI, it makes it a lot easier to one, build new features, fix bugs. And so we've been able to continue doing this successfully, on weekends, over holidays. And we brought on a few developers that are doing this full time as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so can we dig into the product?
Mhm.
So I guess maybe the first thing is, can you just sort of take us through as a new user on Alpha Arcade? What's the process?
Right.
How do I get started?
For sure. So if you go to our website, alphaarcade.com, you'll see there's a bunch of different categories: sports, politics, crypto, pop culture, geopolitics. And essentially, all you need to do is click on a certain market. So, for example, one market is whether there will be a US government shutdown this year. And you could see the current odds for that market. You could see that there is a 78%, or sorry, a 48% chance of that occurring, of there being a government shutdown. And so essentially that means that if you predict with 48 cents and you are correct, you will win $1. And so it's very simple. In this instance, if you think that there will be a government shutdown, you would select yes. And if you're correct, if you bet, say, $480, you would win $1,000. When you make a prediction, you just need to match with someone that's also predicting no, and that peer-to-peer transaction will go through. Whoever the winner is, they automatically receive the funds through the smart contracts on the blockchain. And so it's very simple in that sense.
That's cool. And then all you have to do is connect your wallet, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Connect your wallet,
Yeah.
place a prediction, and then you also are able to create your own market.
Yeah, so we have a pretty popular Discord community. We have a channel for new markets. So,
Uh-huh.
for example, we just launched a new market on whether Haystack, which is one of the new
Yeah.
dApps on Algorand, whether their token sale tranche will sell out in less than 6 minutes. Right. So
Oh,
this is something
okay.
that people would talk about on
Yeah.
Twitter, right? If you look
Yeah.
into threads, people will be saying like, "Oh my God, I think it'll close in less than 3 minutes." Another person's arguing, "No way, it's going to take 10 minutes." And there's just this constant back and forth. But now that there's a prediction market, people can actually put their money where their mouth is. They could see the collective opinions of people that are actually into this sort of thing, that are following Haystack and their token presale. And so yeah, we've launched markets for a ton of different kind of unique aspects of Algorand, different tokens on Algorand, as well as general crypto in general, geopolitics. ton of other markets.
And this is you guys launching markets. It's not users launching. It's not the users on your platform launching markets.
They will bring us the markets they want to launch, but we will
Okay.
launch them internally. We
Okay.
do want to have a feature that allows people to just launch their own markets without our intervention.
Right.
That should be coming soon, actually.
That's like coming soon. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Actually, I remember being at ETH Denver with you guys, and you guys were just getting ready to launch. Remind me again, when did you guys, was it around Super Bowl that you guys launched? Or that was the
We
plan, right?
launched on Super Bowl, kind of like the beta, but
Yeah.
we really went live, I think around like mid-March.
I actually wanted to take us to how incredibly fast you guys have grown. All right, here we go. This is a dashboard that actually kudos to Simon and Mark on our analytics team put together for Alpha Arcade to track exactly how well they are doing. And look, we are seeing some tremendous growth. Max, I'm super psyched because when we first chatted back in March, it looks like we had about 40,000 transactions per day. Now, when I'm looking at transactions per day, your all-time high right here was 400,000 transactions a day, which is amazing. And then when I'm looking at, the number of markets that you guys have on Alpha Arcade, look here, you guys had about, you started with 30, but really for a while you were averaging around 10.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in the hundreds where, again, your all-time high is closer to 500. And right now we have 100, 115, 88. It's amazing to see all this growth. And then just scrolling down a little bit, this is also, I thought, was a really, really telling metric to talk about the growth. The volume of transactions that you guys are seeing has really grown over the last 6 months. And when I just look at, actually back on the volumes, when I look at from when you first started to where you are right now, I think you guys hit right here about 2 million cumulative volume on Alpha Arcade. And I just wanted to show this because this is such incredible growth, and it's only been 6 months. What matters to you? Like, what are numbers that you're looking at when you think about growth for Alpha Arcade?
Right. Volume is really the metric that we follow the most closely. Liquidity is the name of the game for really any trading platform, prediction markets in particular. If you look at our charts, we've done a little over 2 million in volume in 5 months
5
or
months.
so.
Yeah.
And if you look at the daily active users, it's around like 50 daily active users, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And a big reason for this is you can really only make predictions currently with USDC on Algorand or different Algorand standard assets. And so for us, really the goal with Alpha Arcade was to get product market fit within the Algorand community. We almost look at this as a really big like beta or essentially trial run in a sense, because we're getting constant feedback from power users in our Discord and on Twitter, and we're really tweaking and improving, iterating the product. So when we do launch the ability for people to pay with credit cards and Apple Pay and different cryptos, the product is in a really, really good spot, both in terms of functionality, features, there not being any bugs, because at that point we expect the number of users to 100x. And when that happens, we want to be ready for those new users to come in. So the fact that we're doing these numbers with such a small user base really does prove that we have this product market fit. And that's the most important thing. That's the dream for any startup. Small number of users that are obsessed with your product.
Totally. So I'm going back into the charts a little bit. Like you have 200 or 300,000 transactions a day, and you have 50 daily users, call it, right?
Keep in mind, a lot of those are bot transactions. So there are a lot of users that have written trading bots.
Okay.
I wish we were doing that from like individual purchases, but that would be a lot of the bots making trades as well.
Do you track, or do you know how many, they're daily trades here. Do you know how many trades per user on your platform approximately?
I don't know that off the top of my head. It would be a bit skewed because of
the bots. But I'm seeing
generally it's typically the same groups of users that are making the majority of the predictions, which is really what we want. Again, a small group of people that love your product, they're telling their friends. That's the dream, because at that point, your product is working for those types of people. there's probably more people like those people that you can go find. They'll then like your product. And that's really how these things spread, is really trying to get that product market fit with a small user base and then expanding to get more users on the platform.
Totally. I mean, your daily user numbers are very consistent, right? So you have this like
Right.
loyal set of users, and then your daily transactions are growing, despite sort of some of them being bots. I think that means that your
Right.
transactions per user number is going up. And now that you've found the stickiness, it's really about just figuring out new users and bringing them into
Exactly.
the funnel, right? Which
Yeah,
is
and
great.
stickiness, I think is a great word. When someone uses our product, they're almost always coming back. Churn is essentially zero.
Yeah.
And if you look at the chart and you look at the volume, you might have seen that big spike kind of early on. That was during the NBA finals. And so the
Mhm.
interesting thing about prediction markets is there's always something new happening. Like right when NFL started last week, we were averaging, I think, like 25,000, 20,000 in volume per day.
Yeah.
And we expect that to continue each weekend as the NFL goes on for the next 5 months.
Yeah.
And then in 2.5 months, the NBA starts and
Right.
the Major
Never
League
ending.
Baseball playoff starts. And
Yeah.
then we have new elections coming up,
Yeah.
soccer. And so there's always something. And that's what's exciting. There's always going to be groups of people that are interested in different things. And the great thing is maybe they're only interested in making predictions on soccer. But then when they make that prediction on soccer on Alpha Arcade, then they're in the ecosystem. Then maybe they see a market for, who will be at the top of the Spotify charts this month. And they say, oh, that's interesting. I follow this. I'll make a prediction on that too.
Yeah.
And then that really kind of creates this flywheel,
Yeah.
which is why it's just been pretty straightforward for prediction markets to get these large numbers of users.
Yeah. And when you say volume, that is the value of the predictions that users are placing on Alpha Archer.
Correct.
Is that
Those are
right?
matches. So if you
Matches.
place a
Oh,
limit
matches.
order
Interesting.
for,
Okay.
$1,000,
Mhm.
that would not count as volume until it's matched by someone on the other side.
Okay. So that's actual trades, call it, or
Correct.
predictions
Yeah.
that have been matched. Okay.
Exactly.
Great. That's awesome. And then you guys launched recently, parlay prediction markets.
Yes.
What is that? I know it's big. I know it's really exciting. But for those of us who are not steeped in the prediction markets, can you explain what parlay markets, prediction markets are?
Yeah, it's generally just the ability to essentially pair different markets together. So for example, maybe you think that the Falcons are going to win the Super Bowl. There will be a national Bitcoin reserve this year, a Russia-Ukraine ceasefire, and Bad Bunny will be at the top of the charts in September.
Okay.
You can make a prediction that all of those markets will come true. And if you're correct, you would win a lot of money. But in order to be correct, all four of those markets would need to hit. You would need to be correct in all four.
I see.
Parlays have been around for a while, but there are no other prediction markets that are giving you the ability to parlay multiple prediction markets together.
Oh,
We
interesting.
just think it's so interesting that you can parlay like the Dodgers winning a baseball game with the number of federal rate cuts in
Yeah.
September. It just
Yeah.
sounds very strange saying it, but in reality, maybe there's someone out there that is very confident in their knowledge about baseball and the Federal Reserve. Those are the two things they know the most about. Now they have the ability to essentially pair those predictions together and have the ability to make even more money if they're correct. Now, naturally, this is riskier. Parlays are pretty risky. Most people know that. But no other platforms even give you this ability and really show you the odds based on the number of markets that you parlay together.
That's so interesting. That's super cool. And how has the uptake on that been? I know you just launched it, so maybe it's too early to tell, but any indications?
No, it's been going really well. It's probably, I would say, the feature people are most excited about and they're using
Yeah.
the most often.
Yeah.
We just launched the ability for people to do parlays, multiple parlays within a single game. So, for example, in an NFL game, you can predict one team winning. You can also parlay that with the quarterback scoring a touchdown and a certain receiver getting a certain number of yards. And if you're correct on all three, obviously there's a chance to make more with that. So it's been exciting. This is something that we were super we were just really stoked about it. I think Mark built this in like a few days. He just randomly showed me. We were excited. We posted a little teaser on Twitter, and it just ended up working out like we thought it would, which is
Yeah.
pretty rare with startups, where you build something and you expect it to do something to get a
Yeah.
certain people have a certain feel for it, and it actually did.
Yeah.
And so we're going to continue building on this, promoting it, because currently this is one of the biggest differentiators between us and other prediction markets.
Like Poly Market doesn't have this, for example.
Correct.
Yeah. That's super cool. I was just going to say, to your point, like most of the time you have to launch a few different features and then find a fit, try 5 things, fail, and then find one thing that works. And it
Right.
feels like every time you guys are trying new things, it's you guys end up landing on something that's really exciting. So I'm going to ask you a question. What's been hard? Anything?
This compared to Lofty, this hasn't really been that hard, if I'm being completely honest. And it goes back to what I said earlier, where if another prediction market launches a new feature and it's working, it's pretty obvious on our end that if we launch something similar, it's probably going to work as well.
Yeah.
Now, we don't just want to build a clone of these other platforms. And I think both with the parlays, the fact that we have this native utility token alpha definitely differentiates us alongside a lot of other things we're going to be doing to differentiate ourselves as well. I mean, just going back to Lofty, everything we've had to do on Lofty is from scratch. There's no one that's done it before. It's a blueprint. We might think something's going to work, but in reality, no one's done it before. And so there's no way to know how users are going to react. I would say just general with the prediction market, just generally getting users to check out the product, getting feedback from them, really pushing people to let us know what they like, what they don't like. And then on our end, knowing really what to focus on. I think that's probably always the toughest thing.
Right.
People asked us, like, why wouldn't you launch the ability for people to use ETH or Bitcoin or a credit card to make predictions? Like, you would open yourselves up to such a larger market. And for us, that makes sense, but it likely makes more sense to intentionally have a smaller group of users that will give you feedback on the product, allow you to iterate, and build something that will really be ready for that influx of hundreds or thousands of users that are going to come in and use your product.
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing, is figuring out what to do, what to focus on next.
I think
that's always the hard part.
I think that's right. Like growth is going to be hard, right? Like once you open up the platform to new users, you're going to have to see if the old tricks work with these new users. And then you're going to have to find a way to make sure that they are sticky. And then you're going to have to make sure that we launch features that then are attractive to other users. So it is, I think it's going to be a constant work to kind of get through, to grow to the platform and get the users to come.
Generally, there's such a large addressable market for prediction markets. People are used to it. They know what it is. And so for us, we almost feel, I wouldn't say the opposite, but if you can get like 50, 100 people to love your product, love the features, they're using it constantly. If you get 50 other people on the product, say from another crypto community, it's very likely that they're going to feel a very similar way about the product, right? People are generally, I wouldn't say the same, but they tend to think the same. Like 50 different people liking a product, giving us feedback, us making those updates. It's very likely that new people will come in and also like the product and those updates.
Yeah.
It's just about making it easy for people coming from other chains and people using fiat to use the product. That needs to be seamless. You can easily just use Apple Pay to make a prediction. You could use ETH. You can connect MetaMask.
Yeah.
Really, like the onboarding and that initial user experience is what most products in crypto lack, is a good user interface and user experience. So that'll be really our main focus.
Making it super easy for anybody to come and try. And I know, by the way, this is a little bit of a plug for Para. I know that you guys are using the Para swap API to allow users to place predictions with algos now, in addition to USDC.
Yeah, we've Para, that feature, they've been great. We launched Algo. You can make predictions.
Monko. You guys just launched Monko. Yes.
We just right before this,
we
announced on Twitter, you could use Go BTC, Go ETH,
Oh, that's so cool.
XUSD.
Yeah.
We'll be launching some more ASAs soon. And yeah, Para has made that super, super easy.
We're Para's also working on some other stuff that's going to make exactly what you're talking about a little easier too. So we're excited to have you guys
Awesome.
be beta testers on this. All right. Okay. Last question before I let you go is what category has been sort of like the most popular on Alpha Arcade?
I would say sports.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Definitely sports and geopolitics. NFL and NBA has been, super hype. A lot of people love to make predictions on it. And then the Fed interest rate cuts have been very popular as well. It's really whichever markets people are very, very opinionated on.
Yeah.
And they think that they're right and they know that they're right. Right. The things you see on Twitter where people are so confident in their views, those are the markets that tend to do well because people are so confident that they'll actually put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
But again, like the market for whether GTA, the new Grand Theft Auto comes out this year, like that's a very popular market that we really kind of launched. Seemed like a joke at first, but again, we're very confident that it either would or would not launch this year. But definitely like NFL, college football, and then like our NBA market, I think was doing over 6 figures in volume, like NBA championship. And so, sports have probably been brought in the most volume so far.
Was the U.S. Open popular? Did you guys do anything in the U.S. Open?
We did. It was pretty popular. We've seen really the major sports, NFL and NBA have been by far the most popular, much more than soccer or like golf or tennis, which is surprising. I would have thought soccer would have been more popular.
Well, maybe win the World Cup.
Win the World Cup, exactly.
And
that's just another thing. Like the World Cup is coming in 2026. That's a market that's going to do extremely well.
Huge.
And there's just always something new and exciting happening.
Well, that would be a really good one.
That's the coolest part about prediction markets.
I was just thinking the whole World Cup, that would be a really good one for parlays, right? Especially.
Correct.
That would be fun.
Exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Well, very, very, very exciting stuff, Max, and to you and Mark. I know it's a lot of work behind the scenes, even though I know it's on the weekends and nights, but it comes through us, seeing some really, really nice traction and growth, and it's fun to learn about what you guys are working on. So thanks, thanks so much.
For sure.
All right. So right now, I think it's time for us to bring in Fred to give us a nice little update on what's been happening on the ecosystem. So Fred.
Thanks, man, for having me on again. It's always a pleasure to be here. And oh, God, I absolutely love Alpha Arcade. Max and the team are killing it. There's so much going on every week. They're always releasing new updates. There's new markets every single day for all the different things that you can care about. All sorts of sports, geopolitics, all the crazy random stuff that you see all over the news and especially on social media. I bet you there's a market for that. So, stay tuned for Algo Fam. If you still haven't, definitely check out Alpha Arcade, right? In Algo Fam, as you know, Algorand is here. So this is a sign-up week. I'm pretty sure you're already all set up and have your wallets going and everything and referring your friends and all the good stuff. So make sure that you have everything ready in the next couple of days over the weekend, because next week we start with the very first quest, which is with Alpha Arcade, okay? So check out Alpha Arcade now. Make sure to set up your account, your wallet on Algorand, and be ready because in just a couple of days, on Monday, you'll be able to play around in the very first quest, which is on Alpha Arcade, all right? So, man, once again, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to be here. And let's jump on the weekly news. We have a few things to share since our last episode just a few days ago, but the ecosystem is booming. It's, always great stuff happening all the time. So very happy to share some of these latest updates. So speaking of Arcade, they just released another round of USDC payouts from just all the trading fees collected in the platform to their token holders. So again, really cool stuff happening on Alpha Arcade every single day. Haystack, which is also a newly launched DeFi protocol on Algorand, launched the third and final tranche of their token sale at mid-finance, and they also automated the token buyback and burn from all the trading fees happening in their DeFi trading platform as well. So again, also a lot of really cool stuff happening on Haystack. I'm very excited. It's a great to use app. AlgoFam, you gotta check it out. It's great tech and a lot of fun to use. Okay, but continuing, still in the DeFi land because there's a lot happening on DeFi always. Tinyman recently released the Tiny Power upgrade campaign to basically just give more benefits to restaking, lower fees, and other perks for all the tiny governors out there. And not for the governors, but for the geeks and the developers out there, Tidyman also released the v2.5.0 SDK that basically just integrates support for the recurring orders, the trigger orders, and all of the latest cool functionality that Tidyman released a few weeks and months ago. So now it's all available for automation through the latest SDK. So for all the DeFi builders out there, make sure to check it out and integrate in your dApps, in your products that you're building, your bots, whatever it is. The SDK is out there waiting for you. All right. And still speaking of DeFi, Vestige, another one of the most prominent DeFi builders in our ecosystem, they announced that they're working on a mobile app for basically tracking your portfolio and trading assets on chain. So that should be quite interesting. Stay tuned to their channels as they release more information in the upcoming days and weeks. But once again, the ecosystem doesn't stop, and it's not all about DeFi. There's great things happening all over the place. As usual, there's a lot happening at Para Wallet. They just teased upcoming availability of the Para card in Poland, Netherlands, and several other countries. So it looks like they're on the expansion track. Stay tuned to see if your country is making up the list shortly, okay? And they also just released a few updates for the app, both on iOS and Android, with several bug fixes, performance improvements, UI, UX, changes, etc. A whole lot of great things that the team is always pushing for. So go check out the Pear Wallet and make sure that you are in the latest version. In the gaming world, guilds are finally coming to Fractal Monsters. The Fractal Monsters team has been pushing lately. Lots of new updates. The game is gaining traction. It's a lot of fun to play. And they just announced that guilds are coming soon. So for all the gamers out there, start guilding up. It should be fun battles within the community. We shall see what happens. But it's not all about purely the Web3 component of things that we have happening in Algorand, right? There is a lot happening in the AI world. Recently, Go Plausible integrated with the Cursor MCP server. So another great integration of this whole suite of products that Go Plausible is creating around AI integration. So kudos to the team. Excellent work they're doing over there. And we're also happy to share that Algorand is now integrated with Theron MCP protocol. So basically, for all of you AI geeks out there, Tyrant is another up-and-coming protocol that's gaining a lot of traction recently, and now Algorand is integrated to their MCP server. So go check it out. Another very big deal that happened just a couple of days ago was that the Algorand Foundation hosted the Humanitarian Aid Payments Council in Berlin. It was a packed council that lasted a couple of days with some of the biggest names in the humanitarian efforts that the Algorand Foundation has been working with all over the world. And in that council, we also launched the Aid Trust portal. There's a lot more updates about this in our communications recently. So if you want to learn more about the Aid Trust portal, definitely check out our social media, our website, etc., to find more information about it. Okay. And on the tech side of things, we had two important updates in the last couple of days. The first update is that I know there's a lot of Ledger users in the Algo fan, and maybe some of you realized that the latest update kind of broke the support, but I'm happy to say that the latest update that Ledger released, 2.5.5, fixed all of the issues, okay? So if you're a Ledger user, just make sure that you update to at least version 2.5.5 or later if one is already available. Feel free to update because that's going to fix any issues that you may be encountering while using the Algorand app in your Ledger, on your Para wallet, or basically anywhere that you use it in our ecosystem, okay? So that was update number one on the tech side of things. And then update number two to wrap up this the news section for today is that the Algorand protocol itself was just upgraded to v4.3.0. So the voting passed just a couple of days ago. So all of you node runners out there, if you are running your node and you still haven't, make sure that you update your nodes to v4.3.0 ASAP, okay? That's a must. It's your duty to the network, okay? So, man, that's all that I have for today. It's been a very busy days here in the Algorand ecosystem. Lots of great things happening every single day. So I'm sure I'll be back soon with even more news to share. But AlgoFam, it's your turn to shine. As I mentioned before, and as you have seen everywhere, I want to see you all over Algorand, okay? Algorand is up and running. So get started now if you still haven't, and make sure that you're all ready to try out the very first quest, which is with Alpha Arcade. Max and the team starting on Monday, just a few days from now, okay? So once again, get started. With Algorand, set up your account and get ready because on Monday, the fun starts and the very first quest is on Alpha Arcade, okay? I hope everybody has a great day and I'll see you very soon. Thanks a lot for having me, man. Back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Fred. It's always nice to get these updates from you, and I know the ecosystem loves it. All right, well, so this is all we have for this episode. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you soon again on the next time.